Hi, good morning, everybody. Since my last video was made, I got a nice response to my tutorial on making my circles on my quilt, and I was just wanting to show you this morning the progress that I've made on my quilt. Here it is. Here are my applique circles. Again, this was mode of fabric. And I just appliqued these circles, and as I said before, I was just going to put a cream sashing on, and I put this lovely border on it, and I've backed it with a real pretty floral garland pattern. But how I'm quilting this, I just wanted to show you. I've just quilted in the ditch between the sashing seams, and then at the very end I like to do a like a channel stitching from here to there around the entire border. But how I'm going to be doing the circles is what I'm doing now, and Elliot can come around. I decided to just do a free motion quilting stitch in each circle. And what I've done, this is my brother's sewing machine, which I love, and this machine actually does it so very easily. I just put the foot on, the open-toed foot, and I literally push a button here and the feed dogs drop, and I'm able to free motion quilt. So what I've done in each circle is I've stitched around the outside of the applique circle, and then to make it stand out in relief, I like to stitch just the inside of that. And then I don't have a pattern or anything, or a stencil. I do have stencils, and I'm going to do another video showing how I free motion quilt on my home sewing machine. Feather quilting, feather stencils. But for now, this one, I'm literally just doing a, I don't know, an acorn shape or shape around this circle, just out of my own head. I've done a few of them, and I'll show you actually how I do it on my home sewing machine. This is a fro size quilt that's about 65 inches, and as you can see, this machine has a very long throat, but I've actually quilted a king size quilt on my my Husqvarna sewing machine, which it was hard, but I did it. I don't send anything out. I do all my quilting by myself. So I'll show you now. Let me show you one that actually you can actually see it a little bit better. As you can see, I've stitched here, along here, and that's about, my quilting is about every 1.5 inches to 2 inches, and to me that's plenty. I like to have it quilted a bit looser than tighter with maybe hard stippling, because I think the air makes it a fluffier, warmer quilt. So I'll just start. What I'm going to do is, for those who haven't free motion quilted, you just make sure everything is nice and loose, and I'm going to start stitching around here. And if any of you don't realize, free motion quilting, then the needle is just going up and down. You have to guide the fabric. It's like, I always liken it to painting with the needle. You're in charge of the quilting itself. The machine is not doing anything. Usually the machine has those feed dogs and you go along straight. I'm the one who's controlling the fabric. So it takes practice and some getting used to, but you can feel it. And I always say, a lot of free motion quilters, your shoulders go up. You just have to make a conscious effort to just relax and actually bring your shoulders down and guide it. Have your fabric nice and loose on your lap and your quilt, and you can, again, it takes practice, but you can feel it. So I'll start sewing around here with my free motion quilting stitch. Just going around the outside. always stop with the needle down because it can jump. But as you can see, I'm not going too slow, I'm not going too fast. I get it very intimidated when I actually watch the long arm quilters. I'm fascinated and I think, oh my word, you hear vroom, vroom, vroom. And I think it's awesome and they can do so well. But this is my my ghetto version of free motion quilting. So it's not too fast, it's not too slow. But I am in control the whole time. I don't have a stitch regulator, obviously. I am the stitch regulator. And I'm trying, with a lot of practice, to make the stitches consistent. Now this is where I began. I'll just bring this up. And, oh, where's my scissors? I always tie my scissors to my cord, so I always have them. I'll just cut those little threads. And then I want to go, I've done on the outside. Now, I want to go on the inside of here to make that sort of stand out in relief. So I just take a few stitches in and off I go around the inside of that wide satin stitching. Actually, this is a good practice for free motion quilting because you can actually see where you're going as opposed to like making up a design on your own. Okay, and that's where I ended it. So now, I'll just go underneath and cut the thing. Now, what I do to make this pattern here, I've done one here, is I start in the middle, and again, this is my sort of redneck version of a quilting pattern. I go in the middle, pull up my tail threads, and I just want to make a few stitches, and then I go back and I actually get rid of these because they really do get in the way. So what I want to do, the quilt, it doesn't have a top or a bottom, but I like to be consistent, so I'm stitching each circle towards me just to keep the whatever that design is consistent. So I just make in my own head I've made a wide thing with a point. And I'll show you what I do. Starting from the middle, I go up, I just go wide and come up and make a point. And then go wide and come in. Then I go over here on that same stitching line and make a point. And then go wide and come up to the middle. And then on that stitching line, I go wide and just make a point. I come up, go wide into the center. On that stitching line, I go wide, make a point, go wide, and make a point. And there, it's a little bit wonky, but doesn't matter. And if somebody questions your quilting, you don't want to give them a quilt. They can go to Walmart and buy a quilt. Because quilts are made with love. They don't have to be perfect. Unless it's a show quilt, of course. So, there you go. I was debating whether to do like, since my last name is Truelove, I put hearts in a lot of things. That's cute. I was debating whether to do a free motion quilted heart in each thing, but I want to get the quilt overdone with, so I don't think I'm going to. And again, the backing, you will see, is that it? Oh, the backing shows a nice consistent pattern, and then later this afternoon I'm going to actually finish the straight stitching, just here, every 1.5 to 2 inches. I like that around the border. It takes a little bit of time, tons of stops and starts, but that's okay. So I'll be probably posting this. I'll finish it later on, but I just wanted to show you how I do that simple free motion quilting on my machine. So I hope you like this. Thanks. Bye.